What about the stable coins? So we have the stable coins. We've been trying to get the Genius Act through for quite some time. It seemed like it was signed, sealed, delivered. The president signed it, and then it's been held up with the bankers, I guess, have been objecting to paying yield on that. What's the status of that from your angle?
We're hoping to have this bill on the president's desk for signature very soon. We're really at a critical moment where we've got a couple months left to get this across the finish line, and it's all hands on deck. We're really optimistic based on some of the recent compromise discussions. And of course, there is this issue amongst the banks and the crypto community around yield, which we thought had kind of resolved itself when we got the Genius Act signed into law. But there's still some concern that some of the stablecoin operators are able to offer reward type incentives to users, and the banks have been concerned about that. So we're hoping to get all of that resolved. We think we've got compromise in place, and I would expect this to be out for markup very soon, as well as the overall Senate vote.
And why do you think that's so important to get that passed very soon, as you said?
My concern is that if we don't future-proof the asset class and the technology here in the United States with legislation, and nothing is more
the stablecoin bill specifically.
Well, the stablecoin bill is separately. So I'm talking about the Clarity Act,
Yeah.
but the stablecoin bill, similarly, without legislation, things can be changed by future administrations very easily. Nothing's more permanent than legislation when it comes to politics and policy. And so getting a clear statute in place that says these assets are lawful assets here in the United States, companies have the certainty that they can build and the clarity as to how they can do it here in the United States, that's going to unlock a lot of new innovation and business activity here in the United States. So the Genius Act, of course, did that for stablecoins. We now have a number of banks that are entering the space. We have new neobanks that are coming in to issue stablecoins as well. And now with Clarity, which is the market structure bill, we can start to see more businesses innovate with custodial businesses, as well as exchanges and the like. So this is a really important piece of legislation we want to get done in the United States.
Does some of that make it easier for businesses to raise equity? So you mentioned like tokenized securities, for example. So rather than going through the long, arduous, very expensive process of going public, is there some sort of carve out or provision that makes it easier, faster, cheaper for companies to go raise money publicly using a securitized token?
Well, without the clarity and certainty as to how to do it, and the understanding that what you're doing is something that's lawful and won't be taken away from you in the next administration, there is some concern about coming into the United States and engaging in these activities. Many of the firms that are doing innovation in tokenized securities are doing it offshore. And we want that to be here in the United States with clear rules and investor protections. So I do believe that with the partnership of the SEC and CFTC working together to provide clarity to innovators in this space, that's going to bring a lot of new capital into the United States. That's going to allow for companies to decide to tokenize their stock or invest in different types of digital assets and offer those opportunities to Americans on a regular basis with the clarity they deserve.
Yeah, and if they can get to market faster, cheaper, and raise more money, then it's a good for the overall economy. It seems like we're at this point where like technology is changing so fast in every area today. In a lot of ways, it sort of is moving faster than the government the regulators can sort of catch up. And then sometimes we get to a point where it's like the technology has advanced so fast, we sort of have to even rethink, why do we even do this? I was reading this article this week and it was talking about how we're creating these humanoid robots. And Elon Musk says the hand is the hardest part. And it's like, why are we designing them to have a hand? Why do we even have doorknobs on doors? Because we have technology, the door can just actuate and open, whatever, right? So I'm curious, like, in the commodities, for example, I mean, that was originally created so we could manage crops and things like that, like really old school, hard asset, commodity driven. But now with technology, especially when we start talking about crypto assets, we're talking about 24 trading, global. And then we have all these, you mentioned, I don't know, 4 or 5 different types of digital assets that don't really fit in that same framework. So I'm curious, just from your take, like, how do you think about sort of continuing to stay on top of these technological changes that are happening so rapidly? And you said nothing is more permanent than legislation. So sometimes we just build layers on top of layers, but at some point, do we need to sort of like carve that out and rethink how we're legislating or regulating that?
Over the past 100 years, we've seen our commodities markets evolve, to your point, from agricultural markets primarily, where farmers, ranchers, and producers were using these markets to hedge commercial risk in their business, whether it's risk of the weather, changing from season to season, or the amount of crops that they're able to yield, or the input cost of energy or water and things like this. And we started to see these markets become more financial in nature. We saw currency products, we saw interest rate products, and now we're seeing all these new digital products. We've seen crypto assets. Bitcoin was the first futures contract in the crypto space, but we're seeing so many more today. And we're also seeing things like compute futures. So with all the data centers being built out here in the United States, there's real need to hedge that risk and the cost
That's
of
pretty
compute
interesting.
and GPUs and all of that. So our markets continue to evolve, and that's what's great about the United States, that we have a free market economy where we're accommodating all these new types of assets. We're seeing prediction markets, another really interesting area in the derivative space. So of course, we've got to, as regulators, continue to innovate as well and think about what changes are needed in our markets. We're not paternalistic, merit-based regulators. We look to the markets and understand what they're trying to do. We don't say you can trade compute futures, but not grain futures, or crypto futures, but not metals futures. We allow for all these different things under a really broad and accommodating statutory framework, but we set rules, and sometimes we need to tailor rules differently for different types of products and markets.